Newsletters are one of the best, easiest ways to do marketing, thought leadership, all that kind of stuff in tech marketing. A lot of people get freaked out about newsletters because they worry about two things too much. Executives and others don't have time to read anything. This is a very common trope. And also, what are you going to write about? But the most important thing about newsletters is not those two things, but is consistency. You want something that comes out probably every week, maybe every 2 weeks. You could do a month, but I wouldn't advise it. So what kind of content would you put in there? Well, this is also where you have a huge advantage with a newsletter because these people have already been lead genned. They've already gone beyond that email sign up. So you can actually put things in there that you don't have to gate. You could put white papers in there that they can download, whatever. But you've already got all this content, probably that you just have hidden behind an email, and you're like, why aren't people signing up for this? And they can do exactly that because they've already signed up. You could make small video clips, you could make transcripts and write up tips and things from it, come up with a 300, 500 word piece, just about whatever. Just think about some conversation you had with customers recently or something that you learned about. It doesn't really matter. And then it's also good to put just industry news, not only from your company. You always want to have at least one thing from your company, but you want to put in just news that's going on, even conferences that are happening, recordings of things. You might even put in competitor stuff if it's interesting enough. For example, in the developer productivity space, there's all sorts of papers coming out every 6 months and blog posts about them, surveys. Those are things that you can put in there. You can just give a summary of it, or you could just link to it. There's also relevant news, trends, things like that. But you can start to think how whatever is in your space, whether it's platform engineering, programming, nowadays AI, just put stuff you find interesting in there and you'll be fine. And track those links to see if people have clicked on them, if they follow it, so you can track them all through the customer journey and all your tofus and bofus and mofos and all that kind of stuff. Think about how you use a newsletter as just another way to constantly be engaging with, but also gathering information about what your community, what your customer base is doing. As a bonus, instead of freaking out about what you're going to put in there and the length of it, what you can do is you can start to hone your own craft. You can introduce the discipline of having something weekly to write and start thinking about how you do that and get in that flow of doing things on a weekly basis. That's one of the hardest things to do, is just getting started and sticking to it. But when you have something like a weekly newsletter, you have to do it. It's a self-assigned task. All you really need to do is provide something that people you care about glance at, even if it's just the subject line, so they still know that you're alive and there.